They rejected his scholarship application, so he built a university that accepted everyone. As we dive into this story, don't forget to like and tell us where you're watching from in the comments. If you enjoy stories like this, make sure to subscribe for more powerful content. The living room smelled faintly of bleach and fried plantains. Jalen Rhodes sat on the edge of the old sofa, wearing his only suit, a too-tight navy blue one from his cousin's graduation. His tie was crooked. His palms were damp. On the coffee table sat the envelope. Thick, embossed. Prestwick University. His mother stood in the doorway, still in her no-scrubs, keys in hand. Her eyes were tired but proud. "Go on, baby," she said. "Open it." Jalen hesitated, fingers trembling. He'd played this moment in his head for weeks. The smile, the joy, the hug that would make all the late nights and cold dinners worth it. He tore the seal and unfolded the letter. "We regret to inform you." The words punched the air out of his lungs. He read it again, slower, softer, just in case it meant something else the second time. It didn't. No interview. No wait list. Just rejection. His mother crossed the room. They said no. Jalen swallowed hard. Yeah. He folded the letter neatly, as if that might make it easier to live with. She tried to hide her disappointment, but it flickered across her face. She placed a hand on his shoulder, gentle but unsure. "Maybe one of the others will come through." He didn't answer, not because he didn't believe her, but because this was the one. Prestwick. The dream. The future. They said he didn't fit the campus culture. He knew what that meant. Too poor. Too black. Too East Side. He'd worked night shifts at the grocery store, studied under flickering streetlights when the power got cut, typed essays on borrowed library time. Still, it hadn't been enough. He didn't cry. Instead, he stood, walked to his room, and pinned the letter on the wall. Not out of pride. Not for motivation. Just to remind himself. They didn't even see me. 2 weeks later, a friend from church, David, an older kid doing an internship in Prestwick's admissions office, pulled him aside after service. "Yo, I saw your name." Jalen blinked. "What?" "In the admissions system. Your file was marked Do Not Advance." Not rejected, just buried. That's what they do sometimes. Quiet nose. Jalen stared at him. "So they didn't even read it." David shrugged. "Maybe, but they never gave you a shot." That night, Jalen sat in bed with the lights off. Not angry. Not even sad. Just clear. If they don't want me, fine. I'll build something that wants all of us. Community college wasn't the plan. It didn't have ivy-covered walls or fancy lecture halls. Just stained linoleum, flickering lights, and vending machines that swallowed change. But it was all Jalen could afford. Days started before sunrise and ended long after midnight. He stocked shelf from 4 a.m. to 8, rushed to class by 9, tutored high school kids at 4, then drove Uber until his eyes blurred. He ate from dollar menus and learned to nap in parking lots. Sometimes he skipped meals so his mom didn't have to. Other times, he told her he'd already eaten, even when he hadn't. Every now and then, he walked past a Prestwick ad on a billboard or bus. Be exceptional. He'd lower his head and keep walking. One December night, after back-to-back shifts and a failed midterm, Jalen sat on a stairwell at the edge of campus, shoulder slumped, textbook unopened in his lap. He felt like a ghost. There, but fading. That's when he heard the mop bucket wheels squeak. "Still here," said a voice. He looked up. It was Mrs. Ramirez, one of the janitors. Older, kind eyes, always humming old love songs under her breath. "Yeah," Jalen said quietly. "Just tired." She nodded and sat beside him, easing down slowly with a sigh. "My son used to study here too, before he passed." Jalen glanced over, unsure what to say. He worked nights. Like you. Didn't have much, but he loved to learn. Always carried this old backpack full of books, wouldn't let it out of his sight. She reached into her cart and pulled out a small box, battered, taped, covered in faint dust. Inside were 5 books: philosophy, literature, A worn copy of The Souls of Black Folk. Scribbled notes in the margins. Bent corners. Yellowed pages. He wanted to be a teacher, she said. Maybe you'll get there for both of you. Jalen blinked back the sting in his eyes. She patted his hand gently. Don't let the hard days lie to you. They end. Jalen taped one of the notes from the book. What you build with pain lasts longer than what they hand out for free. To the inside of his notebook. He didn't suddenly get straight A's. He didn't get famous. He just kept going. 12 years. 12 years of missed holidays, busted cars, unpaid bills, and scraped together tuition. No spotlight. No shortcuts. Just survival. And finally, a degree. No parade. No ceremony. Just a printed diploma in a mailbox, and a quiet walk to the kitchen, where he placed it on the table for his mom to find when she got off work. Then he went back to his shift. But in the back of his mind, a new thought had started to form. What if I could build a place for all the ones like me? The church smelled like dust, old hymnals, and second chances. Jalen stood at the front of what used to be a sanctuary. The pews were gone. In their place, plastic folding chairs, a whiteboard borrowed from a friend's garage, and 10 aging laptops wired together with more hope than stability. No university president. No endowment. Just him. And 9 students. They trickled in one by one, each one carrying a weight no resume could explain. Tasha, a single mom who'd aged out of foster care and never finished high school. Dante, just released after serving 6 years for a crime he didn't commit. Lewis, a former combat medic with shaky hands and PTSD. Renee, a waitress who used to be a poet until life stole her time. And Ava Caldwell, who sat in the back row with a notebook but no smile. She didn't speak much the first week. Just listened. It was week 3 when she stayed behind after class. Jalen was wiping the whiteboard when she spoke. Do you know who my father is? He turned. Should I? Gerald Caldwell, admissions director at Prestwick, for 20 years. Jalen froze, marker still in hand. I found the notes, she continued. From when I applied. They accepted me because of him. I wasn't supposed to see it. That place, it's beautiful. But it's not built for people like you. She paused. Or me. Jalen nodded slowly. You left. Dropped out after my first year. Couldn't breathe in there. Ava looked around the tiny classroom. This feels honest. Word spread slowly. First through shelters. Then prisons. Then halfway houses and street corners and community centers. Jalen taught everything. Basic math. Intro to writing. History without filters. Resume writing. Critical thinking. Confidence. He had no teaching degree. No title. Just truth. You are not your past. You are your potential. That became the motto, handwritten across the top of every syllabus. He patched the roof himself when it leaked. Learned how to rewire outlets through YouTube. Printed handouts at the local library until they stopped charging him. A small community began to form. Mrs. Ramirez came to clean after hours. Ava started helping other students learn to write personal essays. Dante built a website with coding skills he taught himself at night. Still, no media coverage. No wealthy donor. Just people showing up and staying. By year 3, there were 100 students. And no one had dropped out. 15 years after it started with 9 folding chairs, the academy had a campus. Real buildings now. A courtyard. A library named after Jalen's mother. A computer lab built from a tech grant Ava helped secure. But the front gate still had no iron. No prestige. Just a carved wooden sign. The People's Academy. No tuition. No test scores. Just prove you won't give up. Inside were classrooms filled with students society forgot. Former foster kids. Veterans. Single parents. People who had once believed the door was permanently closed. 30,000 graduates. Job placements. Businesses started. Non-profits formed. Lives rebooted. And Jalen? He still refused a title. Never wanted president or DR in front of his name. Just Jalen Rhodes, staff. One spring afternoon, A letter arrived in a sleek white envelope. Prestwick University. The seal was gold. Ava opened it while Jalen sorted through graduation gowns. "They want you to speak at commencement," she said, handing it to him. He raised an eyebrow. "Would be honored if you would accept our invitation to deliver the 150th commencement address." He chuckled softly. "Took them long enough." Ava studied him. "Will you go?" Jalen stayed out the window for a long moment. Outside, Lewis, now a counselor, was helping a first-year student learn how to format a resume. A little boy, probably someone's child, chased birds across the lawn. Jalen smiled. "No," he said quietly. "I've got my own graduation to attend." That Saturday, 600 students crossed the stage. No celebrities. No cameras. Just clapping hands. Tears in the crowd. And a few folding chairs still tucked in the corner, kept there out of respect for the beginning. Jalen stood in the back. Not on stage. Not in the spotlight. He'd asked Ava to give the address instead. She stood at the podium in a simple blue dress, eyes full of gratitude. "This school didn't save me," she said. "It reminded me I was worth saving." Caps flew. Cheers roared. The courtyard echoed with the sound of the future being reclaimed. That night, Jalen sat in his office, looking at the Prestwick letter one last time. He scribbled a note on the back and dropped it in the outgoing mail tray. "Thank you for the invitation. I'll pass. I'll be too busy graduating 600 students the world forgot." Jalen Rhodes, Chancellor, the People's Academy. Rejection isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of your own. Jalen Rhodes proved that when the world shuts its doors, you can build your own and open them wide enough for others to walk through too. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful short stories that inspire, challenge, and stay with you.